What's going on? Young Ambition Softwash. Got a comment a little while ago from Jim M asking about a detailed video of my truck setup here. So if that is what the people want, that's what they're gonna get. I almost forgot. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. How about a quick dog fight to get this video rolling? So this is my Purdy 2016 F250 Power Stroke 6-foot bed, which I got all this stuff crammed into. So we'll take a look here at what we got going on. It's a little messy, but we'll start with the hose reels. So I went and let's get some of this junk out of here. I got some scrub brushes. Toss that over there. So what I did was I used to have them sitting here. So as you can see, there's this wooden platform here. So I built this platform, raised everything up, and the reason that I did that, so it runs this decking only runs out to here, and then it goes back along the, so you can see here it starts. Where are we? It starts right here, runs back here to the box, and what it does is it fills that void. It gives a platform of the void between the wheel wells. The reason I did that is because see how this tank is pushed up against over here on this side? It gives more room to do stuff on this side of the bed over in here. So this deck runs all the way back and then it goes wide along the width of the truck. If I didn't have that there, because of the wheel wells right here on my truck, that tank would have to sit in the middle, and then you lose a lot of space. If I didn't have the box in there, I could probably just push the tank on backside of the box, but or on the backside of the wheel wells. But I like having that box in there. It's where I keep extra batteries, some wiring, tools. I mean, you guys start doing this, you'll realize that hoses break. You need to have tools to undo these different fastenings here, and the box is convenient. I like having the box. It takes up a lot of space. I do think it's actually going to come out shortly because I will be updating some equipment, but for right now I like it in there. So that's why I built the platform. So the hose reels used to be sitting, well, one hose reel used to be sitting on this platform right here. Wasn't a huge fan of it. So what I did is I just went to Home Depot, got some of this metal sheeting, drilled it and fastened it into the rail here, and then it's just propped up on some wood. So not anything fancy, but it sure is effective. And with the hose reels here, so the red hose is, I want to say 3/8, half inch diameter PVC hose. So if you guys aren't using PVC hose or some kind of Kim transfer hose, you need to. So when I started out, I was using just garden hose. I actually started out with Flexzilla hose. This one is just my water reel. I'll talk about that in a minute. I was just using the garden hose, and it worked fine. Worked like any other hose, except it's not rated for the corrosiveness of the chlorine, the bleach, whatever you're using. So within a couple weeks of using this Flexzilla hose, it started to warp and rot through and bubble. So what I did was I updated to this PVC, nice, about 200 feet of PVC hose. It's rated to work with chemicals and transfer chem. It works great. So this hose is on this reel, and then it's attached to this wand here. So it's just a nice fan tip. You can twist it and it goes to a smoothbore type stream. And this is just a sprinkler head. It's called a PVC riser onto a ball valve. And when I bought this hose, it came with a bunch of different fittings, these little barbs. So it actually twists right into this ball valve. And then there's a barb that goes into the hose. and then you just put a hose clamp on it. The wand is great. The wand is really what you want to use. As much PVC that you can get on your system, that's what you want. So the hose reel here, this is just my water hose. The reason I went to this was because again, when I started out, I just had a wad of hose here. Doing a couple jobs back to back of taking out 200 feet of hose to stretch around the house, and then winding up 200 feet of hose by hand. It just takes extra time. You start adding 10-15 minutes to every job, you're going to spend a good portion of your day just rolling up hose. So I got my 200 feet, actually this is 150 feet of the Flexzilla hose, just with a Gilmore gun on it, and this is the feed right here. So it's, I don't know what it is, maybe 4 feet. I just have it zip tied so it hangs right here. So what I do is, when I pull up to someone's house, most people have a garden hose out front. If they don't, then I'll take 50 feet off, I'll run it to their water supply, and then I come in and I connect it right here. So now my hose line is charged, and I've only used maybe 25 to 50 feet, and then I can pull off my 150 feet, go around the house. 150 feet is usually enough. Only a couple times it hasn't been. Then I just pop this off, and I can add another section of 50 feet if I need to. At the end of the day, at the end of the job, all I have to do is come over here and reel this up. Okay, so it's a lot easier to reel this up, 150 feet of hose, and then all I got to do is just hand roll 25 feet, 50 feet, or a lot of homeowners have the their own little crankable hose reel. You reel that right up back to the house, turn the water off, you're done. So this, having a dedicated 150 feet on a reel to rinse, wet down the vegetation, rinse the siding if you're doing a house wash, that has saved me a lot of time and a lot of frustration. I will reel, or I will hand roll up 25 feet, 50 feet of hose any day. 150 feet, 200 feet, no thank you. Don't want that at all. So if you come back through here, you can see this decking. Again, let me get up here. I know it's hard to see, but you can see the decking that runs. We're on this platform now, no wheel wells. Tank runs all the way through, and then we're up against the box. So down here, I have my tank. This is my chem tank right here. 100 gallons, got that from Home Depot. Almost everything on this truck, except for these hose reels, has came from Home Depot, Harbor Freight, Lowe's, something like that. It's all accessible, all easy to get. Actually, the pump I got online too. But I put, this tank comes with an outlet on the bottom, which is really convenient. Then you just got to go to Lowe's, get a couple little fittings, put a ball valve on here. You don't need to have the valve, but I mean, if you got to take something apart or something breaks, all I got to do is turn off this valve. So it's off now. I like it off when I'm not using it. It's tied in to this this braided PVC chem transfer hose. Everything you want, your chem is touching, try to get PVC. And this runs from here through this line into the pump, and then it comes out over here, comes up and into my reel. So it eventually ties into this hose and goes into my reel. What I did do, which I recommend doing, is splicing in with a little T. See this? Spliced in with a T is just a male thread. That's all water. I just rinsed it out. That male adapter, so I can take a female to female, put that on there, and then I can bring a fresh water hose over, plug that in, and I can flush out my pump, which is very important. You want your pumps to last as long as possible. Of course, can't get that back on there now. We want our pumps to last as long as possible. If you go do a job on Friday and you're pumping chem from your tank through your pump, you finish the job and then you don't have another job till Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, that chem is sitting in these tubes, in this pump, and it's corrosive. So I don't flush out my whole hose reel usually. The reason for that is because it's all PVC. It's rated for chem. It's not that big of a deal. The pump, however, you want to rinse out. So having this teed in there will give the option to put fresh water in here, turn off your chem, open up your hose. What I usually do is I take my hose and I just drop it into the top of my tank, and I just cycle some water through. It goes right back into the tank. Once I know that this pump has been flushed out for 30 seconds, a minute, whatever you feel like doing, then I turn it off, put my cap back on, and I can wait until the next job, and I don't have to worry about my chem corroding my pump too early. Now, there's a lot of options for powering your pump. A lot of guys use batteries. The 12-volt system works really well. That's my line going to my pump for power. I just have it taped over the box here, so it just doesn't get slammed on. It's always in the same spot, and it comes into this switch here. It's on-off switch. So on the other end of this on-off switch is usually clamps for a 12-volt battery. I just hated having to run back into my house every night, carry the battery, charge it, whatever you got to do. I spliced this and I ran it outside the back of the box. It goes down, goes under the truck, and then because this is a diesel, it actually has two big 12-volt batteries in it. I ran it to one of the batteries in here, and I've never had a problem starting my truck. I run the pump all day if I have to. When I go to the next job, it's charging. The battery's charging. So I always have power. Now, if you drive a smaller truck, maybe you only have one battery, you'd have to just try it out. I don't think it draws enough. If you use a 12-volt battery to soft wash, you can usually wash for 2 days on that battery. I don't see why it would have an issue with your truck not starting. That's something you'll just have to try out for yourself, but it works for me. It makes it so convenient that all I got to do is just flip that switch. I don't have to charge any batteries. The alternator on the truck does it all for me. So you got a back rack up here that holds the ladders. And then on this side, so they're tied down here, and then it just rests on the tank. I'm looking at possibly getting an actual ladder rack. So with the platform here, you probably can't see that well, but it gives some storage, which is nice too. I got my guns, I got an extension wand. I have the handle that annoyingly broke off of my reel. So if you watch the video that I just posted yesterday, I have to manually roll this with my hand. That's a lot of fun. But I mean, this platform, I mean, I built it cheap, and it's been really convenient. You can never have enough Home Depot 5-gallon buckets. So one of these, which I'm sure a lot of you guys know about, is my junk bucket. Extra hose, glue, all kinds of different fittings, and you know, it adds up. It's too much. It's too much. And this bucket I keep onto. It's empty. This is what I do my gutter cleaning with. So I'll go up on the ladder, and then I'll bring the bucket with me, push everything into the bucket, and it makes things easy. So back here, we can ignore that pump. I don't use that pump for anything. So I was actually, when I first started out, obviously we use the Everflows and all that. When I was first starting out, I was trying to find a better way to move water, not have to use the battery. I bought this pump from Harbor Freight, tried to set it up, and I knew ahead of time that I was using it in a way that it wasn't designed, and within 15 minutes I broke it. So it's got a little crack here on the pump. The motor runs fine and everything. I tried to put a bypass on it because obviously these things just want to continuously pump water, and I knew that. I tried to build in a little bypass, and it didn't like it. So that's not important. I don't use that. It's just taking up space. I'm going to get it out of there soon. So this right here is my roof snot. When I fill up my tank, chlorine and water, I throw the roof snot right in there. It gives it that, it's a surfactant. If you guys don't know, it helps, one, if you're cleaning shingles or siding, it helps hold that chlorine and water there a little bit. Just gives a little bit of a sticky texture to your solution. It's roof snot. I mean, there's a lot of products out there. I just use roof snot. I like it. It's relatively cheap, and it's designed specifically, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff out there, but roof snot's designed specifically to be able to safely mix with bleach and chlorine and all that, so you don't get any fumes, where a lot of guys use Dawn. You're not supposed to use Dawn. It can create a gas. A lot of other guys will use Tide. It's cheap, but this is a 5-gallon container. I think it cost me like $65, and I mean, I've done like dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs with it. It doesn't take a lot. It creates a lot of suds, so it goes a long way. I mean, it made a decent amount of money off of this one 65-gallon jug. It's the only one I bought all season long, so it's good stuff. This right here is like a Home Depot. I took the label off. It's just like a moss out kind of stuff. It was actually supposed to be used with the pressure washer. I've never used it. I poured some into a bucket one day and then just gave up on it. So I've never really used it again. It's just something else taking up space in my truck. I got the gas can back there for the old trusty pressure washer. I'd like to find a way soon to mount this maybe on the side here. Extra hose, and I just bought this the other day. There's a video of me using this, just a 15-inch surface cleaner. They make really nice surface cleaners out there. I'm in upstate New York, so a lot of times when you see guys using the surface cleaners, they're in the South. In the South, they have a lot of concrete driveways. We don't have that up here. We have asphalt, so I don't really have a need for a nice surface cleaner. It actually connects right to the end of your pressure washer wand. And the only thing I use it for is pool decking, the concrete around pools, small strips, in different patios. We just don't have the surface cleaning market up here as far as big driveways goes. But if you do, the surface cleaners are really nice. It's a good way to make a little extra money. So this is my setup. It's not too intricate. Like I said, everything on here, the pressure washer, the tank, the surface cleaner, even the gas can, the buckets, the Flexzilla hose, the ladders, the stuff to make the wand, the tip, all these attachments, all of this, all that plumbing in the back, all of this came from Home Depot and Lowe's. So this is a really easy, really cost-effective build. The hose reels you can get anywhere. I actually got these. I don't even know what they are. Strongway reels. These came from Northern Tool, northerntool.com. I think a couple of my pumps did too. I'm not a fan of the pumps that Northern Tool sells, though. I would not buy them. I've gone through 3 this year. I've gone through 3 in 3 months. And that is with flushing them out. So I don't know what the hell is going on with that. Not a fan. But the hose reels are fine. They're cheap. Obviously they break, so this handle came off. My dad always said, if you buy junk, you own junk. I don't think they're junk, but they're also not $300 or $400 hose reels, which you can buy. Be my guest. I didn't want to. Maybe if I get some more breakage with these and I finally cave and want to upgrade, there's definitely some way nicer reels out there, but these are perfect. These are good to get going. So that is the truck setup. Really, the only intricate, annoying thing when setting up is all this back here. Do you see that? I can't even see it. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just all your hosing, your tubing, your pump, getting all of that stuff harnessed up to your hose reels, getting it all neat. That's really the annoying part. Once you get everything set up and you take a step back and you look, it's really pretty simple. So that's the name of the game. You want to have everything you need. You want to have a nice setup. You want it to look professional, but there's no need to go out and spend a lot of money when you're just getting started. My recommendation to everyone, since I have recently gone through it, is constantly be investing back into your equipment. If you don't have the right equipment, if it's not set up right, if it's not working right, if it's not efficient, it's just going to continue to cost you more and more money. It's going to slow you down. But again, this is a really good way to set up your truck. I did actually at one point have another tank over here. If you watch some of my previous videos before the hose reels got up there, I did have a 25-gallon tank that I set up a pump system so I could take chlorine and water. So originally that tank had just chlorine and water in it. That was for like my siding. I didn't really like putting surfactant on the siding just because it took a long time to rinse, and I run my mix a little hot, so it didn't really have to stay up there that long. And then so for roofing, I had the 25-gallon tank, and I would pump the chlorine and the water from the big tank into the small tank, and then I would mix my roof snot in there. So only one tank had the roof snot. I got tired of it. 25 gallons is just not enough to do a roof. So I was constantly having to take time to fill up the tank. What I started doing is I just started putting the roof snot right in my big tank. I do the siding now with the roof snot. Just maybe takes a little longer to rinse, and then it's already mixed if I'm doing the roofs. And it's been working out well. I should have just done it from the beginning. The 2-tank system is no good. In the future, I will be getting a different setup, and there actually will be multiple tanks, but I'm going to be moving to a proportioner system. And then I'll have a tank for water, a tank for the chlorine, so it'll just be straight chlorine, and then I'll have a tank for the surfactant, and then it'll run through proportioner. If you guys don't know what that is, I'd look them up. If you're looking at building out a system, do it right the first time if you can spend the money and do it that way. Also check out Southeast Softwash. This guy Cody, he builds down in Alabama, builds a bunch of really nice skids, and he uses the proportioners and all that. Actually, the proportioner, or the proportioner, is actually a brand name. I forget what he calls his, but I mean, there's a bunch of different names. All it is a way to basically pull the chlorine, the water, and the surfactant from their own individual tank and mix them together. So with my tank right here, this is what you would call a batch tank or a batch mix. I put my water in there and I put my chlorine in there, and then it is what it is. If I go to a really dirty job, whatever solution's in there is going to have to do it. If it's not that dirty and I don't need a really strong mix, oh well, too bad. That's all I have to work with. If I go to a job and I bring my tank down to 40 gallons, where are we? Down to 40 gallons. Now I got to play the jerky game of figuring out, all right, well, now what do I do? There's 40 gallons in there. At one point it was 100 gallons, and there was 30 gallons of chlorine in there and 70 gallons of water. Now I'm down to, you got to play the game of basically just guessing. So then, okay, well, maybe I'll put another 10 gallons in here and fill the rest of it with water. It's a pain. It's a pain. So I'm looking to get away from that. I end up having to come and fill this tank up every day, and it's just, it's too much. It's too much, but it's made me a lot of money. So again, if you're looking to just get started, the 1 tank works. Just like I said, when you're making money, just reinvest, get better setup. I actually recently bought one of those skids. I bought the dual blend Softwash skid from Southeast Softwash from Cody. I'm actually going to pick it up in a couple weeks. So this setup right here has allowed me to make money, a decent amount of money, to where I can reinvest it in a really nice skid. I'm going to use it year after year. I should have that forever. The only thing that should go wrong with that skid is maybe having to replace some pumps and some fittings. But again, that's where you guys want to try to get to when it's the right time for you. But this right here is a great setup. It's been very efficient for me, very effective. So I hope you enjoy the video. If there's something that I didn't cover that you guys want to see more detail on something, I know I just kind of really the guts of the setup is down in here. And I know I just kind of flashed over that a little bit. If you guys want a video just on that, how it's plumbed, how it's, just let me know. I'll show you guys whatever you want to see. I hope you enjoyed it. Jim, I hope that answered your questions. If it didn't, let me know. Yell at me. If you guys are watching these videos and you're finding them helpful, please like, please subscribe, please share the videos to your friends. Anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. It's a great way to either make extra money, or if you just want to go balls to the walls and you want to do it full time. I mean, this can be a career. There are guys doing this all year long. Work for yourself, be your own boss, make your own schedule. There's a lot you can do here. So share it with your friends, get together, get a couple trucks and start making that money. See you later.